Hello everyone, welcome back to another mini tutorial session here on Ghost Paper. And for today's video here on Procreate 5, we're actually going to talk about how you can multiply objects by using clipping masks and layer masks. So this video is actually very important for you to learn a little bit more on how to actually work in a non-destructive way, which is something that I talk about in many of my videos. In fact, I will link a video right here on the top right section of this video that talks about the non-destructive way and the different kinds of masks that you can use on Procreate 5. So if you haven't watched this video just yet, make sure that you don't miss this one. So let's just start, and I'll show you guys the challenge and I'll show you the exercise on how you can work this best, how to actually multiply objects in a non-destructive way and actually save time and also make files that you can change easily. So right here on this file, we have a little Christmas tree. So I have the shadows layer, I have the green layer, the base of the tree, and a little bit of a background. But now I want to, actually, let's just say that for this challenge, what I want to do is to fill this tree with Christmas decorations. So I'm going to, for now, just turn off the tree so that it's a little easier to actually see what this tutorial is about. And in fact, here I have one of my Christmas decorations. Let's just say that this is one of the designs. So if you're actually trying to, once again, we are of course going to scale down this decoration to be all around the tree, but I'm just making it big so you can see it better. So you could of course make duplicates of these Christmas decorations and then change patterns, change colors and everything as a flattened object, but that will take you quite a bit of work to actually do that, because for example right here we have a little bit of light layer and shadows at the bottom right. So those two layers are set as clipping masks. So what are clipping masks? Clipping masks are any layers that when you click on it and by selecting clipping mask, I'm just going to click again so you can see I've actually painted this whole area, but because it's set as a clipping mask, you see this little arrow pointing down, which becomes a chain reaction to all of the layers that you may have as clipping masks. They all respect the boundaries and the section, like basically the alpha of a parent layer, which in this case is the ball, the red circle. So if I turn that off, you see that all of the layers of clipping mask, they also go away. And that is because once again, they are all respecting the boundaries and the visibility of the parent. So how can we actually use best this technique of multiplying objects in the best way? So I've actually grouped all of the layers that I have here with highlights, shadows, decorations, or like the pattern itself, and the base of the Christmas decoration. I've grouped it all into one group. So now I'm just going to slide to the left here, click duplicate, use our move tool, and I'm just going to set this to the side. And now as well, I'm going to duplicate once again, and I'll set it all the way to the right here, so we have at least 3 designs. As you can see here, they're all the same. So how can we start actually adding those things in a very quick way? I mean the variations, instead of like drawing the whole element once again. So we're going to open the group on the left, for example, and now, for example, I can just click on the base layer, going to go into my adjustments and go into hues and saturation. And right here, we can change the color of that Christmas decoration. And now going back into the layers, just so I can show you, because we have our lights and shadows as separate layers with different blend modes, which is something else that the clipping mask allows you to do, which is really, really great. Because the light layer is on add mode and the shadows layer is on overlay, it allows us to actually change the color of our base layer and still get light and shadows in the same way as the red circle is getting. So basically right here, we're already changing this Christmas decoration in a really quick and non-destructive way, which is something that I'll keep trying to give to you guys as much as I can here over the tutorials, because I really think this is one of the best things that you can learn as a professional is to work in a non-destructive way. So now that we have at least this Christmas decoration changed in terms of color, we can now click on this layer, which is the pattern itself. Now what's really great about Procreate as well is that now that we have these clipping masks, I also can click on this clipping mask and select this option, mask, which then creates a layer mask. And what are layer masks? Basically, layer mask is a layer that sits on top of just the layer that you've actually selected mask. And by using the values, I'm just gonna have to click into classic mode here, of pure white in order to reveal things with a brush, or pure black in order to obscure things with a brush, we can make changes to the pattern layer, which is the one that we've applied the mask, but these changes are non-destructive. So what do I actually mean by that? So because these elements are already drawn, I'm going to use pure black and make sure that I'm using the studio pen. And now, for example, I'm going to add a few dots here, or like make it into like a dotted line. And maybe I'll do the same over here with maybe like a bigger pattern. So I'll do the same here. And here I'm just gonna go with a tighter kind of dotted line. So, or like stroke lines. So now that we have this, I just want to show you that if I turn off the layer mask, our element is still fully visible as the original is. And just because we're turning on and off, meaning that this is all a non-destructive way to work. For example, if the client says, oh, I really don't like how this the stroke line is actually only in the blue decoration, Christmas decoration. I would like the blue like decoration here to be the same as the red. Well, it's not a problem. You just slide the layer mask, hit delete, and all of a sudden they both have the same pattern. I'm just going to undo that because I just want to show you once again how we're creating 3 different Christmas decorations very quickly. Also, of course, because I'm talking throughout the video, this may seem like slower than actually is in practicality, in practical terms. So now here on the last one, once again, we're just going to go into hue and saturation. I'm going to change this to like maybe something like pink, for example. And then I'm going to go into the pattern mode, and I'm also going to go into the layers, maybe hit the mask once again. And now using the studio pen, I'm just going to do some very small changes. Maybe here we're actually not going to have dots. So I'll just erase these. I'll just erase the ones at the bottom as well. And maybe here we don't also have, just going to make this brush a little bigger. We have something a little bit more simple, and I'm also probably going to source this color just back in the layer itself. Oops, I'm just going to draw a few more things. So as you can see here, I'm actually getting a little bit of the layer mask itself, which I'll show you in a minute. So you see those like strange details, those actually come from the layer mask. So all you have to do, so go back into the studio pen, make sure that you have the layer mask selected. And now when we paint them, we are helping to reveal these elements. I just forgot that I also had the dotted layer there. That's why this design probably not gonna look the best, but this is just, once again, a quick example to show you how we can have 3 different designs by just quickly duplicating layers or even groups here, and using clipping masks and layer masks to create the variations. So now that we have these 3 decorations, I can just scale them down and just put them into the tree, and even make copies as I scale them down and put them into the tree as well. So once again, to give you like an example, if we have the illustration ready and the client asks for any changes, all that we have to do here is to quickly make changes because we have these layers we have layers for each element. We have the element broken down into layers. So I hope that this makes sense for you guys, and I hope that this is actually hugely a huge help for you whenever you're setting up illustrations for client work. So now what I would do, I would actually duplicate each decoration here, just because I would then have copies. I'm just gonna set this upwards a little bit, so I know that I can turn off these three. And now the first one, let me make sure, yes, I'm on uniform. I'm just going to scale down and position maybe over here. Now this decoration, scale down and maybe position at the top. And then this decoration is gonna scale down and maybe position here, a little bit bigger even. And now, sorry, I'm just gonna bring this a bit closer. On our tree itself, I'm gonna turn back on the shadows layer, the volume on the Christmas tree and the base of the tree. And now I could keep going and I could add shadows to each one of these decorations. But once again, all of my layers are here. So I can go back into adjustments, hue and saturation, change the color of this decoration if I wanted to, and so on, so forth. And then here, guys, I just took another 5 minutes just to show you a more extended example where I took about 5 minutes to come up with all of these other options, and everything is in a non-destructive way with multiple layers. Everything is live. I can change the designs, I can change the colors, and that was all very, very easy to do and actually quite fast. So once again, I think just showing a 9 grid here is actually really nice, because it can then show you a little bit more options in a very short amount of time that's necessary to generate all of these options, instead of drawing every single one of these Christmas decorations from the start. Once again, doing all the shading, all the lighting, and making all the patterns. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope it was had some good educational level for you to understand how you can actually use clipping masks and layer masks to multiply objects and at the same time make them in a way that is non-destructive in your illustrations. If you did find this video helpful, a like would be super appreciated, as well as make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss any tips and tricks, reviews, speed paint videos, and that is all for you to become a better digital illustrator. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.